Okay, awesome.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody, or
Hi.
afternoon it is now. Welcome back to the final session of our knit along with the agave with the lovely and talented Georgia Farrell. Hi,
Hi.
Georgia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be with you today.
So, I probably wouldn't have done this knit along quite the same way. I scheduled it before I realized that I was going to be out of town. So I know a lot of the two middle sections were from a hotel room, which was other than perfect in terms of being able to show things. I just didn't have my setup, and I didn't love it quite as much as I would have. And I'm behind. So I'm absolutely behind. Hi, Sandy. How are you? Nice to see you. So, yeah, I may invite Sandy to come and join us online. Let's see. Um, that would be really fun, wouldn't it? If you are
Mm.
interested in joining, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. If you are interested in joining and being actually live on the podcast with us and showing your stuff, click
Yeah.
that link. That would be great, Sandy, if you want to do that. And Polly, we'd be happy to have you. If you are more comfortable just watching, that is completely fine too. But as I said, I'm really, really behind.
That's
How
okay.
long
So
did
how
you
far have you got? How far have you got? Let's
Okay,
have a
so
look.
I finished the back,
Awesome. That's good
right?
going.
And
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and I'm wearing this sweater that I had planned to wear under this, so it was kind of the inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wearing it, hoping to and then this is my first front, and I've just put it
Okay.
on for the
Okay.
sleeve for
So
that.
you're like almost, yeah,
I'm
almost three
almost
quarters of
three
the way
quarters of
through.
the way done.
That's not bad going. That's not bad going.
No, it's not so bad. Not so bad. All right, so here is Sandy. Yay. Hi, Sandy.
Oh,
How are you?
awesome.
Hi,
Hi,
how
Nice to see
good. How
Sandy.
are
you.
you? Hi, Georgia. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank
Um,
you. This is a
have you
beautiful design.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you like it.
have you finished yours, Sandy?
I have not because I ran out of yarn and it
Uh-oh.
came today.
Oh,
So I made a mistake. I thought I had two skeins of the tornado, but I did not. And when I was doing
oh.
the left front, I thought, I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn. And sure enough, I didn't have enough yarn. So I'm just starting on the right front, but my back front, I'll show you, is, or my back
Oh,
is,
fantastic.
yeah.
Wonderful.
And, and then I've got my left, whoops. I don't know, did I do the right or the left first? Pick it up, Michelle. And then there's my left.
Oh, that's really
Fantastic. Fantastic. It looks great.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm excited to wear it. I'm
Yeah.
going on a trip. Unfortunately, it's for work in 2
Ah,
weeks, and I want to wear it.
yes, of course. Oh, wonderful.
Sandy lives in Maine, which
Uh-huh.
is about the same latitude as Seattle, yes?
Yes,
And isn't
Right.
that
yes,
also the same latitude as Great Britain?
yes.
Yes.
And we,
Okay.
we still have snow on the ground. So,
No.
yes,
Well, I mean, at least it means you can wear your knitwear for longer,
exactly.
which is important.
I don't I don't have to rush to start doing sleeveless yet. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I always feel a little rushed in our area, because we have such a short and such a mild winter,
Yes.
Mhm.
you know.
So
So
you need to get your summer knitting going soon.
right, I need to zip along with
Yeah.
my winter and make sure that I get that done and worn and all of that.
Yeah.
Anybody else who would like to join and share your stuff, I would be happy to have you. You can just click that link. Feel free. Don't be shy. This is very casual and relaxed. Right, Sandy? You weren't shy. I'm
Yes.
glad.
No,
It's great.
I love this.
Yeah,
So
it's really fun.
did you make an agave for yourself, Georgia?
No, it's not one that I have for myself, unfortunately. I have made from the collection, I think it's called Orchid, the sweater. That was the first one I made from the collection, but you never know. It might be my next one. I'm feeling quite inspired after seeing everyone else's to cast on for one. So watch this space.
It's a fun knit. I mean, it really is a
Yes.
fun knit. And I love that you did not seam the sides because it hangs so perfectly.
Yes. I think, it's the kind of thing I would knit for myself actually. And because when I knit for myself, I like things that are quite simple and relaxing because otherwise it feels too much like work, because it is work. It's a half work, So I only knit things for myself that are fun and relaxing. And so garter stitch, I knit a lot of shawls, garter stitch shawls and that kind of thing. So this would be a great, personal project for me because it's so simple and lots of, repetition and the stripe patterns, which is always nice watching the stripe pattern grow.
Yes.
So you've always kind of got something to aim for the next color change. I like that kind of thing.
Yes. I'm in the process of changing colors here, so I have to watch. I can't tell you how many times I've just been working along and then realized, oh, I was supposed to change
color
my stripe here. Yeah, absolutely. So gel, let's see. Polly says she's barely started. Haven't made it to the sleeves. Okay. You can appreciate this. She has a new dog.
Oh.
So that takes a little bit of time. And then Gel,
Absolutely.
you should come on because I know that you have done a lot of work on this. Nearing the second front shoulder bind off. See, she's almost done. But I'm glad to say that none of us is completely done yet. We're doing our best though. So tell us what you have planned what is on your needles right now. Are you working? Is there anything you can share with us, Georgia?
I am working on some new designs using Kid Classic. So I don't know if it's a yarn you'll all be familiar with. It's been in the Rowan range for forever, basically, for a long time.
What is it?
And Kid Classic.
Oh yes, we carry all the colors.
And I think it's a yarn that often gets overlooked. It's a beautiful yarn. I'm really enjoying working with it. It's very light. Knits up really fast though because it's a sort of 5mm needle, so it's kind of Aran weight. So I'm working on a sort of a mini collection using Kid Classic. So that's really fun, and it's my usual architectural style and inspired by a trip I took last year and some buildings I saw. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, and I'm just in the design swatching kind of phase. So I just finished a swatch last night, and I need to cast on for another one. I've got a few ideas that I'm working around, seeing what I like. So that's really fun. And I think in the last year they expanded the color palette quite a lot. They brought out a lot of new shades, so that's nice. There's more to play with now, in terms of color, which is really great. So
what is your favorite color of Kid Classic?
Do you know, I'm actually just using the two shades of the khaki green, and then there's this really pale, almost like a gooseberry kind of green. That's just beautiful. It's really delicate, and it's maybe not my usual kind of color, but when I was knitting with it, I was thinking how lovely it is. It's really nuanced, and I think it's a really nice kind of as a neutral. It's kind of like a hint of green. It's really beautiful. So that's definitely got to be up there. And I really like the kind of the bluey grey colours in the range, like drought, those kind of colours. So
I knit a sweater from the first mode collection. It was the cowl cardigan.
Oh yes,
I knit
Martin
that
Story
in.
design, wasn't it?
Oh,
It's fantastic design.
I think it might be. Is it Martin? It might be Martin. I can check and see. But oh
I
my
feel
goodness.
like it's Martin. I feel
Yeah,
like
you're
it's the kind of
probably
thing he
right.
would do.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it was such a sleeper of a pattern. Let me see
Yeah.
right here. Let's see. Cowl. I can't find it. Somebody out there can find that. But I wore it all the time. I wear it absolutely all the time.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
a great garment.
Let's see. Monica working on the back. Yes, good. Okay, well, Monica, brioche and garter stitch are about as opposite ends of the challenge
Yeah.
spectrum. So that, yeah, it takes time. Denise, where are you? Cast on both sides of my front. Oh no! Why did you have to rip them back? What happened? I had to rip back too because I just wasn't paying attention. Did you have to do that at all, Sandy? Or are you not one of those people who doesn't pay attention?
No, I did have to rip back only because I got up one morning and started to knit and got to the second row and realized I didn't knit, I purled.
Oh,
And I was like, should I leave it? And I'm like, I can't leave it.
yeah, no.
It's the habit when you're,
Yes.
you sit down, you knit stockinette, right? It's a
Yeah.
habit. So
Yeah.
even though it was on the front
Absolutely.
and I had already done the back and I had spent lots of time just garter stitch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah.
Oh, we've all been there.
Very frustrating.
I would say I always have to make one mistake in a pattern so that I learn from it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any problem learning. I actually learned quite a lot on this. There are little things that I wasn't thinking so much about, like casting on for the sleeve. Where is my next color of yarn supposed to be?
Yeah.
Where should I have that? And another thing, if you haven't cast on for your sleeves yet, one thing that I did, I didn't do it on the back, but I did do it on the front, is I cast on one extra stitch for my sleeve. And then on the way back, I knit that extra stitch that I cast on here together with the first stitch of the body.
Oh, okay.
Just to make that a little firmer.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah,
a little tighter. So that's just a little trick. Has anybody gotten to where they are seaming the shoulder? Because I know that's kind of fiddly. We talked about all the options of, provisional cast on and blah, blah, blah. But I think most of us decided not to do that.
Okay, just to go and see. Yeah.
Just to go
in.
So we've all been looking at your beautiful designs from the edition 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This was really
Has that been a hit?
Was it this one or was it Mode? It might have been Mode. Anyway, there were a couple beautiful patterns.
It was Mode.
It was Mode.
Is it Mode? Okay.
In the cotton cashmere.
Oh, yes. Oh, I just like a t-shirt kind of shape with a small textured pattern.
Yeah.
I really want to make that.
What was your inspiration on that?
I think architecture is like a big inspiration for me, but part of what I love about architecture is the geometric patterns, because there's a lot of architecture out there that's not so geometric, but what I'm drawn to a lot of the time is that kind of graphic geometric shapes and lines and patterns. So tessellating patterns is something I like looking a lot at, and obviously a grid is just the most basic form of like a tessellating pattern you can get, and I really like making sort of reversible kind of fabrics, you know, with knits and pearls. And so it was just really working around that idea, but on a really small scale. Scale is something I like to play with a lot with my designs. So you know, sometimes I'll do really large textured patterns, really kind of like overblown, and sometimes a really small one just makes such a nice, for that kind of t-shirt, I thought a really small scale textured pattern would be a really nice finish. So yeah, it was as simple as that, really, just looking at kind of grids and tessellating patterns and playing around with that. So I've done a lot of tessellations of triangles before, lots of that kind of thing, diamonds. So it was just a really simple, basic pattern for that. And obviously, there's been a bit of a trend lately around this kind of checkerboard style that I've seen a lot, maybe more in colour work, more so than in texture, but maybe a bit of that kind of seeps through as well. I often find that things kind of like seep through like that a bit. So yeah, and that kind of shape, that t-shirt shape, I think is a really really wearable, versatile kind of thing in your wardrobe. I mean, you can always layer it up over things to make it last longer, because the cotton cashmere is a really good trans-seasonal yarn, isn't it? You know, it can, so you know, you could layer it over a long sleeve top in the winter, but in the summer it's just such a really, it's a really wearable shape, and one that I really like. So yeah.
We talk a lot about a hand-knit wardrobe. You know, I know that's kind of intimidating,
Yes.
the concept of knitting an entire hand-knit wardrobe, but
Uh-huh.
you know, this idea of a capsule wardrobe. And
Absolutely.
you know, one of the things that they're always saying is you need a basic white t-shirt. So that was
Yes.
one that I had pulled as an example
Great.
because it's so interesting to knit and to wear. It's not
Yes.
just basic stockinette.
Exactly. It's something more going on, but at the same time, it's not so complicated that it's a stressful knit or that kind of thing. I really like that about textured patterns. You get in a rhythm with them, so they're not boring to knit because they're all plain, but there is a rhythm and a repetition that's quite nice and relaxing and not too kind of taxing.
Was that one of the ones you had liked, Sandy? Were you thinking about that one?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. I'm glad you
Yes.
like it.
Yeah, loved it.
Oh, good.
And did you get to choose the color, or did they say, hey, we want something in white? Or were you thinking about that as an upgraded t-shirt in white?
So with mode, they actually pick quite a tight color palette each time that they give us to design with. And a lot of it is based around whites and neutrals for the summer, and then there's usually one kind of color. So we were talking earlier about the sweater I did with that Eve green in it. So that season it was a yellow, that kind of mustardy yellowy kind of color. One season it was green. I don't know if you remember that one. So there was a lot of khakis and pale greens and stuff. So they are very tight with their color palette. I can't remember whether swatched it color or not, because sometimes we just swatch with what we've got and then we specify a color. So I think I did choose the color, but I don't think I had it to swatch with. So it was more of a how I'd imagined it to be. Yeah, it's a really nice color because it's not a pure white. It's a kind of slightly warmer, you know. I think there's I think there's more than one white almost, or creamy,
Right.
you know, in that range of the cotton cashmere.
Well, there's paper, which is whitish, and then there's ecru.
I can't remember which one it is, to be honest.
I can't either.
I'd have to see it in real life. But I don't think it's like the bleach white that you get in some of the cottons, you know.
Right. Not like Summer Light.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got like a really optic white that's kind of really quite intense.
But you know, you don't realize how important the right white is for your skin. You know, if you're a winter, that bright white is exactly what you want. Whereas if you are a little warmer, you maybe want something that's not quite so stark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I remember having this conversation with Trisha when I was in America about color and wearing color, Trisha Malcolm. And she was saying she's done workshops on color before, where she was in a yarn store and helped everyone to find their yellow. And that was so interesting because people often think of yellow as a color that it's quite difficult to wear, but there's such a broad spectrum. Some people, might not look great in a lemon yellow, but look great in like a warm gold or a mustard, or so it's like I think we can wear most colors, right? But you just have to find the right, maybe you need a warm blue or a cool blue, maybe a more intense, or so there's always ways to wear every color. I think you've just got to find what's right for you, like you say, find your white, or your what works for you.
Trisha did that at our shop.
Oh, did
she came and
you?
she did a presentation, and
Great.
I think she had done it at a couple stores when she gave that
Yes.
presentation, and it was really very empowering. I think people say,
Yes.
"Oh, I can't pick a color." I always thought I can't wear orange, but pale orange is really just a warm pink. Peach is just a warm pink, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fascinating. Color's really such an interesting thing.
So Polly says, really liked the knit along Georgia did last summer. I love the architectural inspiration, the textures, and learning how to do an I-cord pattern. I didn't have time to knit it, but so that's fun.
Oh, well, I hope you'll get round to it at some point and enjoy it. Yeah, it was really fun, the knit along that we did. If anyone missed it, it was like a blanket knit along, and each square was inspired by a different city that I'd visited before lockdown, and then we worked on it during sort of lockdown. And so we could imagine we'd go traveling each week to a different city, and there would be a different block inspired by a different building that I'd seen there. And it was a really, really fun project. It was kind of all very textural. So there was some cables and lots of knit purl patterns and, that kind of thing. Really enjoyed the process as well. It was good fun. And I love the community kind of aspect of knit alongs like we've got here. It's just great to meet people from all sorts of places, and you've got something in common that you're working on together, and it's just lovely.
Was that in Rowan Pure Wool, Worston?
It was, yes. Yeah.
Perfect. And then everybody, how many colors did you use? I guess you could use only one color.
So you could. Each of the ones that I designed used 3 colors, and I gave 3 different color palettes that I'd worked on. But I have seen people do it in one color, and it looked fantastic because the texture just, looked wonderful, and it creates such a different look and feel, because there was also a pattern in the placement of the colors, as well as the placement of the different textured patterns in the squares. So, but once you take that away, it completely changes everything, and the texture is just shining. So, yeah, that was a nice thing about it as well, seeing how people put their own stamp on it. I think that's really great. I love seeing what people do differently. Actually, someone tagged me in an Instagram post this week. They were making agave, like you're making, and they changed it so that there was they didn't seam the shoulder all the way to the center of the neck, so they left a kind of gap so that it sat with a kind of almost like a slash neck, if you imagine. And I thought that was really interesting to see how people just have an idea and make a change so that it it's better, works better for them, and that's brilliant. And it was just it was great to see.
I love that you are so free about your colors. I know that some designers are very they feel like their colors are very precious and they're not meant to be changed.
Yes.
And for some knitters, I think that's really great because they want to be told exactly what colors.
Yeah.
But others who have kind of an artistic bent,
Oh yeah, it's great to see other people's ideas of color, because if you imagine, as a designer, I'm sat in my studio and I've got this idea, and I could pick like 10 different color palettes, for the same design, and you get carried away and you've all these ideas, but ultimately I can't knit it 10 times, and I can't, it just doesn't work like that. I have to choose. I'm lucky if I get to do 2 or maybe even 3 at a push color palettes for the same design. So actually getting to see what other people have done, I find it really good fun and really inspiring, because I'd love to make it in 10 different color palettes, but I just can't. So seeing other people do it, it's fantastic. Yeah. And I think I know what you mean. People some people just are worried about changing the colors, and I think it's really good that we talk about that. So we've been doing some sessions on Rowan Connect, and we're going to be doing some more workshops on color, and how to change colors in a design, because that's it can change the design completely and the look and feel of it, just by changing the colors. So there's ways that you can retain that kind of the essence of the design whilst changing the colors, and there's ways you can we can talk about how you can do that, but then equally you can change a design completely to suit yourself more by changing the colors and giving it a different look and feel. So that's really a fun prospect, and a fun project to do. So I think it's really important. We do put a lot of consideration into our colors, and it's not to say that we don't, and I think it is important, but if you're going to knit it, you're going to put all of that time and effort and money, and just because I like bright yellow doesn't mean you're going to like bright yellow. So you shouldn't knit it in bright yellow if you ultimately you wouldn't want to wear that. And so I think it's really important that we all knit what's right for us.
Right. If you're not going to wear it, I mean, this is what I was talking about the other night about knitting a capsule wardrobe. It's like keeping to a cohesive palette for yourself, so that your knitted garments work with one another and they work with what's in your wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's really important.
Yeah. But like you were saying, you can change the colors. I think one thing I'm really lucky about is that I get to see and help knitters who are making something. I get to play with the color kind of in the way you do, to see, different options. And
exactly. It's fun, isn't it? I really enjoyed that when I used to work in a yarn store. If someone came in and they say, I've got this pattern I really want to make, but I want to change all the colours, and we would all be there in a shop, all of us girls who worked in the shop, because we all wanted to get involved, and we'd be pulling all the balls off the shelf. We'd have them all laid out on the table. We'd have 6 different versions of it that we were looking at. It's the most fun bit. Because you kind of get to live vicariously through someone else's project.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And you help it. You get to play with colors and put colors together that maybe you would never in a million years wear.
Yeah.
Right? But they're great
together,
and they're perfect for that knitter.
Yes, exactly. And you sometimes think, oh, I wish I would wear that, but I never would. Or that's such a fun colorway, and you think it's going to look amazing, and you get all excited. Yeah, that was a really fun part of it. And so I feel like by seeing other people knit my designs is like a little bit of that again. I get to feel a little bit of that, so that's good fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. So I'm doing this in the tornado and the darker of the gray. I can't remember if this is called stormy. You designed it in the rainy, which is a pale blue, and the mustard. We pulled another palette in the orange and this dark gray.
Yeah.
Some people have done it in the palest gray and the navy, which is
beautiful.
Very beautiful. But I think one of the most striking ones is Tammy, who is doing it in the palest of the gray and then the bright turquoise.
Oh, wonderful.
Takes your breath away. It's so
really
pretty.
Cool.
It just looks like Princess what's her name from Frozen? Is it
Elsa.
Elsa. It looks like something Elsa should wear. It's so beautiful. And I'm so excited to see that done. So I'm encouraging everyone to, post their pictures and to tag you. And I have a knit along Agave KAL.
Yeah.
So if you're posting pictures to social media, use that tag so that we can go and look at those. And
I'd love to see.
Because I think that will be really, really fun.
Yeah.
So,
and that's kind of like what I was talking about with the color, in the sense that, if you swap like for like, so you swap a bright for a bright and a dark for a dark, you'll get a similar effect, whether that's a bright pink or a bright blue, or, you'll get a similar effect. But then what you could do is you could put 2 neutrals together, and that would be a totally different thing. You know, so it would change the feel of the design. Or maybe you go for something really high contrast when a design initially had low contrast. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just will change the feeling of the design. And that's a really interesting thing. And sometimes people want that, and sometimes they like the way it looks. They just don't like pink, for example. So they want to retain the kind of the way the design looks and feels, but they just want to change up the colors. And in that point, you can just swap kind of similar in levels of intensity, so bright for a bright and a neutral for a neutral, and that kind of thing. And so that's what's quite interesting about color, you know.
We play with that a good bit. We'll have people take a photograph of the thing and then take the color out, you know, remove the saturation.
That's a great tool for it.
Yeah. And then you have, you know, you can look just at the saturation and see which are the darks and the mediums and the lights. And
exactly. Yeah. And then you can see whether your chosen colors do the same thing. They behave in the same kind of way when you do that, and you'll have more of a feel for it. Yeah, that's really a great exercise.
Excellent. So did anybody who is live here have any questions for Georgia before we go, or want to share anything?
Can I ask Georgia what you're wearing?
Oh yeah, sure. This is it's called, I think it's called asymmetric shawl, asymmetric stripe. I can't remember. But it's from magazine 70, the platinum edition magazine. I did a story using Kid Silk Haze, and it's if I go back a bit, I might be able to hold it up a bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna also.
So it's a big triangular shawl, and it's worked in 3 sections of stripes. So you start down here at the little pointy end, and it's all garter stitch, 2 row stripes. And then what you do is each time you just change one color. So we've got the orange and the cream, then we swap the cream for the navy, and then eventually you swap out the orange and go back to the cream and the navy for the last section. And it's really interesting because if you look at oops, I keep going the wrong way. If you look at the orange paired with the cream, it looks like a different orange to where it's paired with the navy. It's the same color, it's just an illusion, you know. By pairing it with the navy, it looks way more intense and darker than it does with the cream. So it's a really fun shawl because you're just garter stitch, just changing color every 2 rows. So you don't ever need to, you just carry the other color up the side as you go. So you don't need to sew in tons of ends, and it just grows and grows and grows. It's really good TV knitting. So in the magazine, we did it in 2 different colorways to just to show. So yeah, it's one of my favorite things to wear, actually. One of my favorite accessories, because it's really warm being Kid Silk Haze, but it's super light, so I can always just chuck it in my bag and it kind of folds up to nothing almost. So yeah.
Is that one strand or 2?
Sorry, strands. It's 2 strands held together. Yeah, it just makes it a bit more easier to knit, a bit more manageable, you know, less cobweb like.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because you knit it on like 4mm needles, so it's almost like it's like a double knit, you know, like it feels much more substantial. So yeah, it's beautiful. Kid Silk Haze is one of my favorite yarns. It's super versatile, and you can do so much with it on its own or paired with other things. So yeah, it's good fun.
A lot of people don't. Go ahead, sorry.
I just said it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you think so.
I'm into stripes now because stripes, you know, you're always changing, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get bored of the same color after a while. So, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's fun. Stripes are fun, aren't they? And they're such a nice way to, kind of easy way to put color together, almost, aren't they? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was the platinum edition. I'm not sure if that was 70. Was that Rowan?
I think so. Yeah,
70?
yeah. It was the one with the purple kind of cover.
Yeah.
I think it's just called asymmetric shawl or something like that.
Yeah. It's beautiful. You did several things in It's Okay for that collection. I remember that was my favorite story from that magazine.
Yeah, it was really brightly coloured, so using lots of the kind of really intense it was called Vivid, so a lot of the bright shades of Kid Silk Haze. And it was a project I did during lockdown, and I think that somewhat contributed to my colour choices, because I think we all felt a bit, starved of, I don't know, everything that was
Drab.
fun. Yeah, everything felt a bit drab, and so I was just found myself drawn to lots of the really bright colours. And maybe that's not my usual thing. So then how do I work them together with the kind of neutrals that I'd normally design with, and make really interesting kind of color palettes out of that? So this orange, I love this orange it's called Golden Poppy, I think. Beautiful shade of Kid Silk Haze. Really lovely.
And it's very toned down against the navy, isn't it?
Yeah, the navy really helps, and the cream, in fact. So I think both of them, makes the orange quite wearable.
Denise says, I think Tweed Haze would work for this shawl. I think you need to go up a needle size though.
Yeah, make it quite loose and airy.
Yeah, because if you knit Tweed Haze on a 4mm needle, that's a US 6. That's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, but you could do a similar thing, knit it on its recommended needle, and because it's bulkier, it would work up quicker, and you would just change color maybe sooner, and because you would need to work less rows to make a similar sized shawl. But yeah, I think that's the fun thing about shawls and accessories. A lot of the time you don't have to worry, because they don't need to fit per se. So if they don't come out exactly the same shape or size, they usually still work. So it's nice. You can be quite fun and free.
Yeah, I love that. Do you want to talk real quick, since we're heading into the summertime? I think a lot of people shy away from Kid Silk Haze in the summer.
Okay, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's a really great summer yarn, actually. It can be, obviously, it has attributes of being quite warm, but it's also really lightweight and airy. So it depends on what kind of garment you're knitting, but I think it's a really beautiful yarn for summer. And it's a yarn I actually knit a lot with in the summer. If I'm in my summer holidays, most times I want to take a project to knit. And funnily enough, I nearly always take Kid Silk Haze. And I know some people say, oh, I don't want that anywhere near me, mohair, when it's hot, but it's so light and really good for traveling with it. I actually knit it an awful lot in the summer. I think, it's quite versatile. If you knit one strand of it, you can create these beautiful, delicate fabrics that feel almost like weightless and, like there's hardly anything to them. And I think they're really, really lovely for summer. Because when it's doubled up, it's a bit more substantial, it's a bit thicker. So, it's a bit warmer in that sense. But I think it's a really versatile yarn. So you can use it trans-season, across all sorts of different projects. And we were talking earlier about pairing it with the Summerlight 4-ply. And how beautiful the fabric it creates is. That is such a lovely fabric if you hold the two together. So yeah, completely love it for summer. Really, really versatile.
Good. Yes, I think so too. There's a really pretty shawl that Martin Story designed in the first summer mode. It's like mode collection 2, I think. That was Summerlight 4-ply in the white, and then there was a row of Kid Silk Haze. So really pretty.
Sorry, I've just realized my phone was about to die. I'm just
plugging in.
So carry on.
We've taken enough of your time, but I didn't want to just drop out on you.
Oh no, thank you. It's been lovely to join you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for taking part in the knit along. And I really hope you've enjoyed it, and that you all enjoy your finished agaves when they're done, and you'll enjoy wearing them.
We absolutely will. And what we'll do is I'll put together a collage of everybody when we finish. I'll put together a collage and I'll post that. I'll send it to you, and that will be so
wonderful.
Fun. And thank you guys for being here and for doing this. I think it really is a lot of fun. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter.
Yes, happy Easter, everyone. Yeah.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
Okay, take care.
Georgia.
Bye. You're welcome. Bye.